Well, here we are in mid-December, and as the days grow shorter and the air turns crisper, we gardeners face a new set of challenges. The garden may be settling into its winter slumber, but there's still work to be done, from protecting our plants from the elements to nurturing those festive indoor blooms. But don't let the frosty mornings dampen your spirits. A little care and attention now will ensure your garden thrives through the winter and emerges in spring, rejuvenated and ready to burst forth with new life. Now, the first task on our December agenda is to assess any frost damage. A nip of frost can be invigorating, but a hard freeze can leave our plants looking a bit worse for wear. Start by taking a good look around your garden, noting any plants that have been affected by the cold. You might see wilting leaves, blackened stems, or a general drooping appearance. Don't despair. Often the damage is only superficial. The key here is to resist the urge to prune just yet. I know it's tempting to tidy up, but those frost-damaged leaves and stems, unsightly as they may be, actually provide a bit of insulation for the plant's more vulnerable parts. So, leave them be for now. We'll come back to pruning a bit later in the season. What you can do now is focus on protecting your plants from further frost damage. For more tender specimens, consider using horticultural fleece, burlap, or even old sheets to create a protective barrier against the cold. Think of it as tucking your plants in for a long winter's nap. Mulching is another essential task for this time of year. A good, thick layer of mulch around the base of your plants acts like a warm blanket, insulating the soil and protecting the roots from frost heave. That's when the freezing and thawing of the ground causes the soil to expand and contract, potentially damaging plant roots. You can use well-rotted garden compost, bark chippings, or even straw for mulch. As you move about your garden, pay close attention to your evergreens. They may be tough, but even they can suffer from winter desiccation, which is essentially dehydration caused by wind and sun exposure during the colder months. A protective screen, particularly on the south and west sides, can make a world of difference. Remember, a little care and attention now will go a long way in ensuring your garden weathers the winter storms and emerges in spring, healthy and full of life. Now, let's step inside, where our houseplants provide a welcome splash of greenery during the colder months. While they may be safe from the frost, indoor plants face challenges due to dry air from central heating. Their natural instinct is to transpire, but with low humidity, they can quickly become dehydrated. So how do we combat this dry air dilemma? Misting is a simple and effective method. A gentle spritz of water can mimic the humid conditions many houseplants crave. Aim to mist your plants once or twice a day, focusing on the leaves. Another trick is to create a humid microclimate by grouping plants together. Alternatively, place your plants on a tray filled with pebbles and water. As the water evaporates, it will create a more humid environment. Remember, our houseplants rely on us to create a hospitable environment for them, especially during the winter months. By paying attention to their needs and making a few simple adjustments, we can ensure they thrive throughout the season and beyond. Now let's talk about those unwelcome garden guests, pests. Just because the weather's turned cold doesn't mean our plants are safe from these tiny troublemakers. In fact, many pests see our homes and gardens as cozy winter retreats, seeking shelter from the elements. One of the most common culprits during the winter months is the aphid. These tiny sap-sucking insects love to congregate on the undersides of leaves, weakening plants and making them more susceptible to diseases. Another common offender is the spider mite, which thrives in dry conditions and can quickly infest houseplants, leaving behind telltale webbing and stippled leaves. But fear not, there are several effective and environmentally friendly ways to keep these pests at bay. One of my favorite methods is to simply blast them off with a strong jet of water from the hose or a spray bottle. This is particularly effective for aphids and other soft-bodied insects. Another natural and effective solution is insecticidal soap. You can find this at most garden centers, or you can easily make your own by mixing a few tablespoons of mild dish soap with a gallon of water. Spray your plants thoroughly, ensuring you reach the undersides of leaves and any other nooks and crannies where pests might be hiding. Neem oil is another excellent natural insecticide that works wonders against a wide range of pests. Extracted from the seeds of the neem tree, neem oil disrupts the life cycle of insects, preventing them from feeding and reproducing. You can find neem oil in spray form or concentrate at most garden centers. Prevention is always better than cure, so it's essential to be vigilant and inspect your plants regularly for signs of pests. Early detection is key to preventing infestations from getting out of hand. And remember, a healthy plant is a more resistant plant, so ensure your plants are well watered, fertilized, and receiving adequate light. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite holiday plant, the poinsettia. With their vibrant red bracts, which are often mistaken for flowers, poinsettias bring a touch of festive cheer to our homes during the holiday season. But keeping these beauties looking their best throughout December requires a bit of know-how. Firstly, let's talk about light. Poinsettias thrive in bright, indirect light. Avoid placing them in direct sunlight, as this can scorch their delicate bracts. A south or west-facing window is ideal, but be sure to filter the light with a sheer curtain if it's particularly intense. Watering is another crucial aspect of poinsettia care. These plants are susceptible to root rot, so it's essential to avoid overwatering. A good rule of thumb is to water only when the soil feels dry to the touch. When you do water, be sure to water thoroughly, allowing excess water to drain away. Temperature is also important for poinsettias. They prefer temperatures between 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 to 21 degrees Celsius, and are sensitive to drafts and extreme temperature fluctuations. Keep them away from heat sources such as radiators and fireplaces, and avoid placing them near drafty windows or doors. To help maintain humidity levels, consider misting your poinsettia regularly. You can also place it on a pebble tray filled with water, as we discussed earlier with houseplants. With a bit of care and attention, your poinsettia should continue to brighten your home throughout the holiday season and beyond. And who knows, with the right conditions, you might even be able to coax it back into bloom next year. Now, let's talk about a silent killer that can plague our plants, both indoors and out root rot. As the name suggests, root rot is a fungal disease that attacks plant roots, leading to wilting, yellowing leaves and eventually, if left untreated, plant death. Root rot thrives in damp, poorly drained soil, and overwatering is one of the most common causes. When soil remains consistently wet, it creates an ideal environment for the fungi that cause root rot to flourish. So how can we prevent this silent killer from taking hold? Well, prevention starts with proper watering practices. Remember, it's always better to underwater than overwater. Before watering, check the soil moisture by sticking your finger about an inch into the soil. If it feels dry, give your plant a drink. If it feels damp, hold off for a bit longer. Choosing the right potting mix is also crucial. Look for well-draining mixes that contain ingredients like perlite, vermiculite, or coco coir, which help to aerate the soil and prevent it from becoming waterlogged. If you suspect your plant is suffering from root rot, don't despair. It's not always a death sentence. The first step is to remove the plant from its pot and inspect the roots. Healthy roots are firm and white or light brown, while rotted roots will be mushy, black, and have an unpleasant odor. If you find rotted roots, use a clean, sharp pair of pruning shears to carefully trim away the affected areas. Repot the plant in fresh, well-draining potting mix and water sparingly. Keep a close eye on the plant and adjust your watering practices accordingly. Remember, prevention is always better than cure, so by practicing good watering habits and choosing the right potting mix, you can help keep your plants healthy and root rot free. There you have it, a handful of tips and tricks to guide you through the gardening challenges of mid-December. Remember, even as winter sets in, our gardens and houseplants still yearn for our attention, responding with quiet resilience to our care. These small acts of tending, of shielding from frost, of providing a comforting humidity, these are the quiet conversations we have with our gardens, a language understood through seasons and shared silences. So keep a watchful eye, lend a helping hand where needed, and enjoy the subtle beauty that winter brings to the gardening world.